It's time for Tomahawk Takes.
It's time for Tomahawk Takes, where we preview the previous Braves series. And Tomahawk Takes is brought to you by SeatGeek. Use code CHOPSy at SeatGeek for $20 off your first purchase. Use code CHOPSy for $20 off your first purchase. And you didn't hear it from me, but if you already made a purchase on SeatGeek and you can't use that code, you might be able to use a different email. I'm just saying, you might be able to do it. So use code CHOPSy. You're going to save yourself $20 off. But let's talk about this series. Unfortunately, we got to talk about it. It was a 3-game set against the struggling Diamondbacks. And like I said before, anytime you're facing a struggling team with these Atlanta Braves, you are going to get beat up, unfortunately, because the Braves are the team to the team to play and get yourself back on track. We've seen it with the Boston Red Sox. We've seen it with the Padres. And now we saw it with the Diamondbacks. And again, like I said in the intro, it was disappointing, man. Disappointing. You thinking you could win 2 out of 3, get it going, but you can't. You drop all 3, you get swept at your house, and the offense it's been forgotten because of the last game. The last game was probably the worst regular season loss I've seen in my lifetime. The only one I could think of is probably, I think it was 2014? Was it 2014? When the Braves lose at that final game against the Phillies, game 162, and they end up collapsing. They had a terrible September. They collapse and don't make the playoffs. The Phillies get in. And I think the Cardinals got in. That probably was the worst. And it wasn't even the game itself. It was just a collapse in September. So it wasn't even that single game. But this one, man, you're up big in the last inning. You're up big and you choke it away. You only had, at one point, you had 1 out left to get to just seal the deal, and you can't get it. So anyways, let's rewind a little bit. We're gonna go into game 1. Game 1 was a 8-3 final score. Diamondbacks, of course, they won this one. Zach Gallen, he led them to the win. He allowed 3 runs over 6 innings. Spencer Strider, he struggled. He surrendered 6 runs over 5 innings. The Arizona offense was powered by a 4-run 4th inning, featuring RBI hits from Ketel Marte and Eugenio Suarez. Ketel Marte, man, he had himself a series. I think he hit it out twice in this game. He hit 2 homers in this one. This guy was a pest the whole series. I'm glad I have him on my fantasy team. And Gino Suarez, too. I got him on my fantasy team, too. And, he came and showed out. That was Spencer Strider. He's been struggling from coming back. You got to give him time. He had that hamstring injury after returning from the procedure he had done, the brace procedure. So I guess you still got to give him time. This was, I think, his 5th or 6th start after coming back, maybe number 5. It might have been number 5. And you can see he doesn't have that peak velocity that we're used to seeing him have, the 99, 100. I think he's been sitting at 95 miles per hour on average. So the velocity obviously is a couple ticks lower, and these guys are just sitting on that fastball or I think he even got ripped on the changeup also. But I guess it's not, when you're it doesn't sound like that big of a difference, but those 2-3 extra mile per hours on that heater are probably the difference right now. Hopefully he's able to, get some more power behind that fastball and be able to get some separation with his secondary pitches, make it more difficult for the hitters. But that was game 1. We're not going to get too into it. The Braves only scored 3 runs, like I said. That's kind of typical of them, 3 runs or less. So we were a little upset. Obviously, they had lost the game before this one against the Red Sox. So they are now at a 4-game losing streak right now, 4-game slide, and it doesn't get easier. We're going to see why when we go into the Braves forecast later on. But yeah, so They lost this one. That was 2 L's in a row. Then game 2, that was final score of Dbacks 2-1. It was started by Merrill Kelly for the Diamondbacks. He went 7 innings, 1 hit allowed, 1 walk, 8 Ks. I think he had a no-hitter through 6 until Ronald Acuna Jr. He singled and broke up the no-hitter. So, again, the offense is getting dominated per usual this season. Chris Sale, he pitched his butt off. He went 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 run. He did give up 4 walks, but he struck out 10. Chris Sale continues to give some nice performances, giving the offense a chance. And again, he just gave up 1 run. So you definitely got to score more here and give Chris Sale a win, guys. You gotta start hitting. And they did hit. We're gonna see why in game 3, but this is game 2. In the top of the third, Perdomo. Wow, I just combined his name. Geraldo Perdomo. He walked, and then with 2 outs, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. He singles to right. That brings in Perdomo. That makes it 1-0. It was pretty quiet till the top of the ninth. Top of the ninth, you bring in Raisel Iglesias, and this guy, man, he's not been no bueno, guys. He's been no bueno. I can't stress it enough. It's like every time he comes into the game, he has to give up a run. It's like his minimum. You got to give up a run, right? So, ¿qué lo que pasa, loco? Come on, you got to figure something out, bro. I don't know what's going on with him. It's terrible, man. You're supposed to be the guy that comes in and seals the deal, closes the door. I get it if you get tagged 1 game or 2, but literally every single appearance is starting to can't even put words to it. Anyways, he comes in the top of the ninth to try and hold the D-backs to a 1-0 lead. But Tim Tower greets him with a double. Ketel Marte, he singles to left. That drives in Tim Tower, and that makes it 2-0, right? So allows an insurance run. And actually, before we got there, bottom of the 8th inning, this was a frustrating part. The Braves, they load up the bases. It was Ryan Thompson. He was in the inning. He gave up. He had runners on second and third with 1 out. And then Justin Martinez, he came in. The bases were loaded. He was facing Michael Harris II. And Michael Harris II, he strikes out on 3 straight pitches. He was chasing. He was not having any good at-bats. You got to at least try and put the ball in play and get a sac fly. You got the bases loaded, bro. You got to do something here. So, I mean, sorry, it was not bases loaded. I'm confusing about the bottom of the ninth. It wasn't bases loaded at this point. But then after Michael Harris struck out, Cunha Jr., he's intentionally walked. That loads up the bases for Austin Riley. And then Austin Riley, I believe he struck out. He just struck out. It was a good at bat. I think it was full count. But he strikes out, doesn't put the ball in play. That's inning over. So you load up the bases once against Justin Martinez. And Justin Martinez was pretty crazy. He had no control in this game. It was pretty nuts. And we see why in the bottom of the ninth. He stays on the mound. He issues 3 walks. And he hits a batter. That makes it 2-1 with 2 outs. Game on the line. Guess who's up? Michael Harris II. He gets to face him for a second time in the following inning, back-to-back innings. He faces the same pitcher back-to-back. And with the bases loaded, he ends up chasing and he strikes out to end the ball game. Terrible at bat by Michael Harris II. This guy, I think he swung. All the pitches he swung at were balls, pretty much. The only pitch that was in the strike zone was the first one that he watched. That was a fastball right down the pipe. He didn't swing at that one. Everything else he swung at, I believe it was that splitter or whatever he throws. Excuse me, I can't remember right now, but it's just he chased, absolutely chased. He got him striking out. He got him swinging, and that was the ball game. And it was frustrating again for the offense. A 2-1 loss at home. You load up the bases twice. This is unacceptable, man. This is unacceptable. If you're going to be a championship team, you got to hit with runners on base. You gotta hit with runners on base. Solo home runs are not gonna help you. It's not gonna help you. This team, and that's the problem. Every time they hit homers now, it's literally just solo shot. You're not gonna win ball games like that. Get your guys on base and keep the line moving. Keep the line moving. But Michael Harris, again, he struck out twice with opportunities to tie the ball game or give the Braves a lead. And that was pretty much it. And Rysel, I mean, you imagine if Rysel doesn't allow that run to come in. It would have been 1-1 tie ball game after the Braves scored on that Justin Martinez hit batter, and the 3 walks that he gave up. That would have been a tie ball game, and things might have been differently. But anyways, that was a yell for the Braves. And another note, Daisber Hernandez, he relieved Chris Sale, but then he exited the game in the 8th due to I think they had a blister or something like that. He got out the game, and he's actually now on the IL with some inflammation. But we're gonna see that in a little bit. But also, so then let's go to Game 3. And we forgot about Game 2. We forgot about Game 2 because how bad Game 3 was. And we forgot about first we forgot about Game 2 because the Game 3 was bad, but the offense was actually good. And that's why we forgot about the performance from the offense in Game 2, and they almost got no hit. But the Braves, they actually scored 10 in this ball game, but they still lose the game 11-10. A terrible collapse by your Atlanta Braves. I guess our Atlanta Braves. I'm already disassociating myself with them. I say yours instead of ours. But our Braves, they scored 10 and they still lose the ball game. That's kind of how the year's been. You finally get to see the bats going, and then you still lose it. Brandon Pfaadt, he opened up the game for the Diamondbacks. He went 3 innings, 5 hits, 6 runs, 5 of those earned. He had 2 walks and 2 Ks, so a short start for him. And Grant Holmes for the Braves, he went 3 1/3, 4 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, and 4 Ks. In the bottom of the second, Austin Riley, he hits a solo homer off of Fat. He makes it 1-0. Bottom third, the Braves, they score 5 runs in this one, highlighted by the Matt Olson RBI double. Marcell Ozuna Eloso, he hits a 2-run double off the center field wall. After this inning was done, it was 6-0. But the Diamondbacks, they answered right back in the top of the 4th. They scored 3 runs, including Eugenio Suarez RBI single. I believe Grant Holmes, I think he walked the first 2 batters of the inning. So you get a 6-run lead. You're like, I was listening to this game. I was doing some work around the house. I wasn't watching. I was listening to the game, and I'm like, here we go. You get yourselves a 6-run lead. You're thinking you're going to be in cruise control, and nope. The lead is cut in half, 6-3 Braves. Bottom of the 5th, Austin Riley, he homers again, 2nd homer. Hopefully, this is a sign that he is going to be on a scorcher. That made it 7-3. Bottom 6, Ronald Acuna Jr. La Bestia and Drake Baldwin, they hit back-to-back homers. They make the lead 9-3 Atlanta Braves. Top of the 8th, Ketel Marte, he hits a solo homer. That cuts it 9-4. And the Braves add another one on the bottom of the 8th, 10-4. So you're thinking, this is it. This is ball game, bro. This is the ball. I was listening. I'm like, finally, we got a nice ball game where you kind of relax. You score a whole bunch of runs. But, bro, that was not it. That was not it. Scott Blewett, he comes into the 8th inning. He ends up giving 5 runs. And this is what happened. The Diamondbacks, they score 7 runs in this inning. Lourdes Gurriel Jr., he hits a solo homer off Scott Blewett. Blewett, he allows a walk after him. And then Alec Thomas, he hits a 2-run homer. Ketel Marte, before that, I believe it was 10-8 at that point. It might have been 10-8 or 10-7. I can't even remember. I try to put this in the back of my head real far away. But Raisel Iglesias comes in. He comes in. And again, this got to be your guy. This is a closer. You're the last line of defense. and you're supposed to be a really good line of defense. The last one, you're the one to hold it down when things are getting bad. So they bring him in. They bring him in. The Braves still have a lead at this point. They still have a lead. And what happens? Ketel Marte, he singles in a run off of him. Delmaro Vargas, he added an RBI single. And then Eugenio Suarez, he delivers a 2-run double off of Iglesias. That made it 11-10. And that was the ball game, guys. That was the ball game. Terrible, terrible way to lose. They score 7 in the top of the 9th. Right, so Iglesias, he allows 3 runs. It's just terrible, bro. It's a terrible look for our Atlanta Braves. And again, I mean, I saw the highlights. The hits that they got off of Iglesias, they were literally, those pitches were outside of the zone too. And credit to the Diamondbacks hitters, they were able to put the ball in play and find some holes, find some gaps, and you know, they made it happen. They made it happen. So it wasn't that I can't even explain if it was bad execution from Raisel Iglesias. I can't even say it was bad execution, honestly. But I don't know, something about him, guys. Something about him is just, it's not it, bro. Every time you come in, you're allowing runs. And Scott Blewett, he got DFA'd after this one. He got DFA'd, and I don't think I don't like that move. I don't like that move really, because he's been pretty good before this one collapse that he had. There's been a whole bunch of other guys in this very bullpen that have had bad appearances, back-to-back appearances, and they're still on the roster. And this guy, he gives you one bad. I know it was really bad. It was really bad. It was a walk homer. That's what he gave up. But besides yesterday's game, man, he's been pretty good for you. He's been pretty good. But anyways, he got DFA. That's the way the ball game goes. I think the Orioles actually picked him up today, so good for him. And, you know, he's still employed and he's still going to be out there, you know, being able to make something happen. But I was speechless, bro. I didn't even believe that went down yesterday. Like, I still don't even believe it today, honestly. It's crazy. I know this team. My thing is this. This is my thing. I know at some point teams, you know, your time being at the top is over. It happens to everybody. It happens to every team. But some teams actually stay in the bottom for a long time. But some teams, they're at the top. And you know, at some point, you're going to drop down a little bit. And I know it was going to happen, but I didn't expect it to be this soon. That's the problem. We weren't ready for it. I would say maybe in 2-3 years, maybe it would happen. Because you know how talented these guys are on the roster, especially offensively. You literally I keep saying it, you had a historic offense 2 years ago, and now you can't hit the ball, apparently, except for yesterday. Yesterday they went off, and they should have won that game. But it was, a terrible collapse, historic collapse. I think it's the first time since like the 70s that the Braves lost a game after leading by more than 6 in the 8th inning. So, you know, it's a historic collapse, to be honest. That's how bad it is. And anyways, that's the way the game went. The Braves have now lost 4 in a row. It's not looking any better. Not looking any better for these guys, because they're going to have a tough matchup this weekend. So we'll see how they're able to fare against the team that they'll be facing, but I don't have that much hope, honestly, with them. I really don't. They're going to have to show me something else. They're going to have to show me otherwise, because, you know, this is really, really out of hand. But I don't know, guys. I didn't think this team was going to be this bad. Now you're back to square one. Now you're 7 games under 500 again. After you clawed your way back impressively. You know, everyone's like, okay, here they go. Now they're going to take off. I thought we were going to take off, but that's not how it went down. And And yeah, man, the terrible, terrible loss. It's at home too. Crowd was booing. Braves fans don't really boo like that, but this crowd was booing. So, anyways, let's see how they're gonna go in the next series. But now let's not talk about the Braves for a little bit. Give me a break, guys. Now let's head into our next segment.
It's time for the MLB.